Hi, welcome on our Thursday Talk. My name is Joyce, and this is our weekly dose of inspiration and activation. Every Thursday here live, and today we are continuing with the book Uninvited. And today we're going to be speaking about not being threatened about the success of someone else. So how not to be threatened by someone else's success. And I want to right away start off with a moment of honesty, like a moment of really being sincere with ourselves. And I want to invite you to honestly look at yourself and ask this question: what do I truly think when my friends succeed and I don't? What do I think when my friends succeed? And that may not be an easy question to answer. Maybe it is. I don't ask you to answer it here, just to keep it for yourself, unless you're comfortable with sharing. But you can either think something in the lines like, wow, I truly am happy for you and truly, sincerely mean that. But maybe your thoughts are a bit different. Maybe it's something along these things, like, why does this not happen in my life? Or, ouch, now that she's succeeding, there's less opportunity for me, there's less space for me. Or maybe you can think something like that. Or even we can think, I guess that person had just better opportunities, more finances, better connections, more talent. And like I said, it's a moment of honesty, a moment of being sincere with ourselves and just looking inside. And last week I already told you how I had those thoughts, how I compared myself to someone else who had an opportunity that I wasn't accepted to, and how I started feeling really jealous about that. And although this was my friend and still is, I had these thoughts about her success. And especially when after this course she started really doing well and I saw her flourishing and growing, and I kept wondering, like, what about me, and when will my chance come? So I had to deal with that, and I had to honestly talk to myself and to her about that, like I said last week. And it's just a little personal example. But these thoughts that we speak of, the author of the book Uninvited calls these stinky thoughts, smelly, stinky thoughts. And why? Well, it's like these thoughts are like something rotten inside of us, and it spreads this horrible smell around us. And maybe the best comparison that I just could think about, maybe you have a better comparison, but this is mine. Like leaving leftover food in the fridge and forgetting about it for weeks, and that little pot is somewhere cramped in the corner and you don't see it, you don't notice it until one day you open the fridge and the smell meets you before you see it, and then you suddenly realize, oh, there must be something rotten inside of here, and it really doesn't attract you. You don't want to go near that little pot of smelly, like decomposed food. And that's the same with us. Those smelly or those stinky thoughts, they don't only affect our own lives, but they also affect the lives of the people around us. They make us less attractive to be around. People don't want to be around someone with stinky thoughts. And the Bible tells us this. The Bible tells us that as we think, we are. As we think in our hearts, we are. And this is in Proverbs. I don't know exactly where. I can search it up if you want to. Just ask me. And you have, there's another verse in 2 Corinthians that says that our lives should be like sweet aromas, bringing the knowledge of God everywhere we go. So that's kind of how this works. Our thoughts, they kind of either form a sweet smelling aroma around us or a stinky one. And if we just really get real with ourselves, these thoughts, these stinky thoughts, they are actually not honoring to God, because they downsize God and they maximize our own weakness. So I don't downsize God when I think like this, and I maximize my own weakness. But the reality is that God's provision is big enough for all of us. And that's a reality when someone else succeeds and you don't, or you not yet, you didn't have your breakthrough yet. It doesn't take away from you because God's provision is big enough for all of us. So, of course, we don't want to have stinky thoughts, don't we? So how can we get rid of those stinky thoughts? We have to change our perspective. We have to change our perspective from scarcity thinking to abundant thinking or abundance thinking. Scarcity thinks like this. Scarcity says, when someone else succeeds, there's less space for me. It says, I don't share my victory with others. I don't give others credit, even if they helped me succeed, because it will take away from me. This is scarcity thinking. And maybe we don't think flat out like that, but yeah, I think in a lot of our thinking, we still feel like we have to, or at least I still feel like I have to protect myself and my territory. But abundance thinking, it thinks differently. Abundance thinking flows out of a deep inner sense of worth, of personal worth and security. This is how the book of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People describes it, and I like this description. You know, abundance flows out of a deep inner sense of personal worth and security. Abundance believes that there is enough out there for everyone to share and overflow. Abundance allows us to share our success with other people and to recognize the role of others in our success. And this is the cool part. Abundant thinking opens doors to possibilities, options, alternatives, creativity. And don't we all need this right now? Are we not right now in a season where we need possibilities, where we need options and alternatives and creativity? When so many things limit us right now, we need those things. So we need to think abundant in this season, and we need to shake off this scarcity thinking, this fear that other people succeeding will take away from us. We need to embrace abundance thinking. So how do we do this now? How can I do this? Let's get practical with this. I believe really it's two-folded. I believe, I just hit the computer. I believe it has two parts of it. If you look at that description where it flows from a deep inner sense of personal worth, then I believe that we first need to work on our worth. We first need to learn what our own self-worth is. And this is not connected to what we do, it's to who we are. And to whom we belong. So we can find what our word is, our self-worth in God's words. And we got to get to know what God says about us. We got to get familiar what his thoughts are about us until we start believing it. And you can do this searching the Bible, seeking, what God thinks about you. Search up those verses. You can find that easily on Google or online. But another thing you can also do is ask God. Ask God, how do you see me? I've done this a few years ago, and I really, it was a really special moment for me. Oops. I remember that one day I was praying, and I just literally asked God, how do you see me? What do you see when you look at me? And God answered with a picture, and he gave me this picture of a peacock. And it's kind of like a very intimate personal language between me and God. And for me, it has a really big meaning. I know what he wanted to say with that picture. It was one when he was saying what my word is to him. And you can do something similar. Ask him how he sees you. Search in the word of God what your word is. And it's just looking at the sacrifices Jesus made for you on the cross. That already says your deep, deep word. That's the first part, our word. The second part is we actually have to go against scarcity thinking. And we do this by actively choosing to pray and bless other people that succeed. If you have a friend and you you're kind of comparing yourself to that person, or you feel intimidated or threatened by the successes of that person, start praying for that person. Start praying for God, asking God that He will bless that person and give that person more abundance and give that person better connections even. Start blessing that person. It's like going against your own thoughts, but and you can do the same, like the first part, search verses about your self-worth. You can now search verses about God speaking blessing over the things you do, and pray that over the person. So I hope those 2 little action points will help you if you struggle with this. And I just want to end up with this thought. I want to encourage you with this thought that there is an abundant need for what you have. You have something that the world is in need of. And maybe some other people are doing something similar that you wanted to do. It doesn't disqualify you. It doesn't mean that there's no space for you anymore. You have something unique that this world is in need of. And so I hope this encouraged you. And I want to wish you all a great evening and see you again next week. Let me know before I go. Let me know if this was a word for you. And yeah, that's it. Bye-bye.